Abigail Goody, and I'm going to be doing this persuasive speech for the public speaking course at Labette Community College. Anyone can experience mental health problems. Mental illness is defined by the Teen Health Organization as disorders that disrupt brain functions. The causes for these problems are numerous and can vary from person to person. 1 in every 5 young people are currently suffering from a mental illness. And it is true that this is true for every place around the world. This shows that it's not any one person's fault and that this can happen to anybody. 20% of the population is dealing with mental illnesses, and yet only 4% of the overall healthcare budget goes to helping people with mental illnesses. This causes a lot of problems to go unnoticed, either because the person doesn't know that they have a problem or because they can't afford to do anything about it. This can affect and cause detrimental problems and can completely ruin or even end a person's life. Mental illness is a silent but deadly killer. Like I said before, mental illness affects 20% of the population. That's over 1.5 billion people suffering from these mental diseases. There are many different types of disorders, such as anxiety disorder, mood disorders, personality disorders, eating disorders, psychotic disorders, behavior disorders, disorders related to trauma, and many others. The most common being general depression and general anxiety. Many people don't seek help for these illnesses because they're not physical problems and you can't see them. But they can be just as deadly as cancer. They just suffer without knowing what's causing their problems. The solution can be as simple as getting the correct dose of medication, but getting this type of help can be more difficult than people would think for so many reasons. The only help one can get for these mental illnesses is either medication or therapy. Talking to a therapist can be extremely beneficial, but at what cost? On average, a 1 hour long session with a therapist can be between $60 and $120. Some therapists try to have a session a week or even more than that. And this is just too expensive for a lot of people to handle. It just doesn't fit with their budget or their life. This is an extra expense that insurance companies sometimes won't cover because it's not considered a health issue. But it can hurt someone's life. I mean, they can not want to get out of bed in the morning, and it can affect their job life, their school life, and just, it's awful. And without proper treatment, these people can suffer for the rest of their lives. Another way to help people with these mental issues is medication, but the only way to get this is if you go to a therapist and get referred to a doctor. And like I said before, therapy is not always an option for a lot of people. It's just too expensive. And this treatment is hard to find. Plus, it's hard for people to know if there's anything wrong with them. And other people don't notice that there's something wrong with them because, like I said, it's not physical. You can't see it. You have to just try to believe them, and not a lot of people understand it. The general population is not educated on mental problems, so they can't understand what it's like for others who suffer from these unfortunate diseases. These problems can be detrimental and even deadly. Suicide rates have increased 33% in the last 18 years. This makes it the 10th leading cause of death in the world. Most of these suicides are caused by long-term, untreated mental illnesses, according to the American Psychological Organization. Thousands of people have been affected by this tragedy. Without proper attention, the people who are suffering from these mental problems can end up causing harm to themselves or even others. These detrimental effects are increasing by the day, and we need to fix it. By educating the population and making it easier to find help, we can successfully decrease suicide rates and help these people who have been suffering for way too long. If the insurance companies would recognize that mental health issues are a real health issue and they affect so many people in so many different ways, then they could help cover these costs and help people get the help that they need. If we could make therapy not as extremely expensive and make it readily available, then we could help people discover what's truly wrong with them and get them proper help. The amount of suffering millions of people go through every day can be solved in one simple solution: to care about it.